Government has ratified the Paris Climate Agreement, formalising Australia's commitment to global effort to curb carbon emissions. It comes less than a day after US voters elected Donald Trump, who's previously labelled climate change a hoax. Energy and Environment Minister Josh Frydenberg joins us in the studio. Thanks for your time.
Nice to be with you, Paul.
You called the President-elect a dropkick last year, but also, more importantly, I thought you mentioned on that Q&A program, someone like this doesn't deserve a platform. Do you still hold those views?
Well, as you know, I said those comments around a year ago, and they were in the context of his comments about women. But as I said yesterday, both the Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister hit the right note in their comments, which were more restrained in the lead up to the vote, and I probably should have followed their lead.
But you still hold that view of Donald Trump, or...?
Well, look, I think the American people have emphatically spoken. 60 million Americans have voted for Donald Trump to be their next president. He will be the leader of a great partner and friend of Australia, an important strategic ally under the ANZUS alliance, our largest foreign investor into our country. It's my job as a cabinet minister in the Turnbull government to get on and ensure that the US-Australia relationship is as strong as possible and that we are doing everything in Australia's national interest.
Let's talk about one of those key parts of the relationship, and that's climate change.
Sure.
How do you view Donald Trump's comments, and where does he stand in your mind on climate change? Is he a sceptic? Is he a denier? Is he beholden to his party now?
Well, he's spoken strongly about energy security and particularly the use of coal, more so than either Hillary Clinton or Barack Obama. Now, as you know, coal is a big part of the global energy mix and a big part of Australia's energy mix. Now, when it comes to the Paris Agreement, yesterday was a significant announcement by the Turnbull government that we have ratified. We've joined more than 100 countries in doing so. There was a watershed agreement in Paris last year when more than 190 countries signed on to reducing their emissions. Our emissions will be reduced by 26 to 28% by 2030 on our 2005 levels, and one country can't unilaterally end the Paris Agreement.
Let me tell you what Mr Trump said, as you're well aware, but I'll read it out for the viewers as well. He's not a big fan of the Paris Accord. He said, "I'll be looking very, very seriously at that at the minimum. I'll be renegotiating those agreements at a minimum, and at a maximum, I may do something else." How do you take that?
Well, under the Paris Agreement, Article 28, it takes 4 years for a country to remove itself. There's a wait period and there's a notice period. Now, I don't want to preempt what President Trump may do or not do after he takes office on January the 20th, so we'll just wait and see. But Australia is part of a significant global agreement. As I said, more than 100 countries have ratified, more than 190 countries adopted it.
And you made comments yesterday when you made this announcement of ratifying the agreement that it's a big opportunity for Australian businesses. As we've said, trade with the United States may be up in the air in some industries. There can't be certainty now, can there, for Australian businesses involved in new technologies dealing with the US until we learn what the United States is going to do.
Well, Paul, I think overall, our economic relationship is enormously strong. The free trade agreement that we signed during the life of the Howard government has led to a significant boost in two-way trade. We are a free trading country, and the Prime Minister reiterated the importance of free trade in his conversation yesterday with President-elect Trump. When it comes to innovation, renewable energies, the commercialisation, the R&D of new technologies, I still think there'll be huge opportunities for Australian businesses, both in the United States and elsewhere. This will be one of the topics that will be discussed in Marrakesh when the Foreign Minister and I go there over the weekend.
Have you been able to read that four-page briefing that Kevin Cramer has given Donald Trump? He's been described as a sceptic as well.
Look, I haven't read that briefing, of course, but in terms of who the President-elect puts onto his team, his transition team, and ultimately into his cabinet, we'll just have to wait and see. And of course, we will deal effectively with them on behalf of Australia, because that's our responsibility.
As always, Josh Frydenberg, thanks for your time.
Nice to be with you, Paul.
Now,